James Burns, this is your fault. No, I mean, genuinely, it is your fault, James. If I hadn't have seen your rather excellent videos recently of high contrast black and white, I wouldn't be doing this right now.
How dare he? Oh, God, what have I done?
You see, the thing with inspiration is it can come from anywhere, even other YouTubers. Now, in fairness, I've been doing black and white for many years, but I suppose to a degree I stopped when colour became more accessible. Black and white was the cheap way of doing things. I had my own darkroom. I used the school's darkroom. In fact, I was the only person that used the school's darkroom. I had my own key. It's something I've often enjoyed indulging in. But now, of course, glorious Technicolor, perhaps we don't do it as much. Now, James has really kind of opened my eyes to something, and it was a video. I'll put a link to it down below, where he's walking around with his little Ricoh GR in a high contrast black and white profile, and I got to thinking, I wonder if my camera does that. Now, you might think that I know my camera inside out, but the truth is I only really know the functions of it that I use on a regular basis. There's whole rafts of it that I simply don't use, therefore I don't know a great deal about them. Such as the function for high contrast black and white. Or I should clarify that a little. It doesn't have a high contrast black and white function, but it has settings that allow you to do that, and then you can assign those to one of the custom modes. Now, I've never ever used the custom modes before because I never really found a need for them until I thought about that high contrast black and white concept, and what do you know, they're bloody useful. Now, the thing that really works with high contrast black and white, you're going to get sick of that phrase, is mundane stuff. You're going to get sick of that as well. What I can't do with high contrast black and white is it gets scenes so much, big wide scenes. I probably could, but generally speaking, what we're looking at with this kind of photography is subjects that really stand out, subjects that we can really separate, subjects that we again see every day, but we see in our normal way. Whereas if you set your camera to high contrast black and white, and yeah, surely you're going to be able to do this somewhere because most cameras allow you to play about with the at least the histogram a little bit for your JPEGs, then yeah, we've got all kinds of things that we can kind of look at, and you've got to kind of work with the camera over this, because what you see is what you get coming out of the lens off the sensor. Well, I'm thrown by the there, but yeah, work with what you see is what you get. Throw it into that profile, and you will be amazed at what things look like. And so much of this goes back to the video that went a little mad a couple of weeks ago. It's all about how you photograph something, and everything in this video is going to be high contrast black and white. And like I say, it's all about what you see through the viewfinder, because it's actually really difficult, certainly to start off with, to absolutely visualize this without being able to visualize it. The thing with black and white, of course, is as you strip away the colour, you start to concentrate more on the tones. Well, in the high contrast black and white, you're even stripping away the tones. The image becomes even more simplified, and that's its real appeal. Suddenly the colours don't matter so much. It's all about the shapes and the lines, and to a degree the tones. There's tones in this image here, but it's about it's about where things are kind of leading you. I mean, I couldn't have placed this here better myself. Yeah, all of these uh, fishing marker flags running off, pointing down the beach line, and it's there's the strand line there. Look, it's just following it all the way down, and there's people down there. Yeah, everything is pointing towards the people. Yet it's so simple because we're not concerned by the colour. In actual fact, I don't think that there's a shot there in colour. It doesn't work for me in colour, but it absolutely works in mono. In colour, I don't think there's an image here of this winch. Actually, it's not even really the winch. I'm interested really in this opening where the rope comes through and the corrosion around it. Yeah, so much aluminium corrosion there, and they've got the rope, and it's in colour, moderately interesting. You've got some nice interesting tones, I suppose, there, but in a crunchy black and white where you've really kind of crushed the blacks down and you've opened up those whites. It's very different. Now, the key to getting this to work is knowing which of the dials on your camera operates the exposure compensation, and getting your finger on it and waggling through those, because as you modify that exposure, you increase it or you decrease it, you're going to get very, very different looks, some of which you might like more than others. It's digital, why not give different looks a try? But you will see that the variation between a third of a stop, which is how these are generally set up. Basically, every time you turn one of your exposure wheels around, you would generally expose or underexpose, overexpose, change the exposure by a third of a stop. So 3 clicks is always a full stop, period, unless your camera's set up differently. That's possible. But out of the factory, it should be 3 clips, 1 stop. One of the things you may have spotted is that pretty much everything I've shot so far has got hard lines in it. Walking over the shingle is really difficult, it's everywhere. But I've resisted kind of softer shapes because in my mind at least, they won't work as well. I mean, I'm sure you could probably make them work. Maybe I'm just kind of pigeonholing myself here. But maybe I'll give it a go. I don't know. But there's just so many opportunities there. But I'm going to head off to towards the pier over here because, again, hard lines there, railings and everything. And I think there's opportunities. So my first softer image of the shoot so far. Can you see it? Hope you can. Now, the thing with this is it better as a wide image or a closer image? Now, I'm not going to swap lens, I don't have to. This will go to 40mm, 80 equivalent on a full frame. I need these 4 people on the beach eating their fish and chips to kind of breathe. They need space around them. But the question is, how much space? Well, I've shot variations of it, so I'll let you decide. Which is better, the wide shot or the closed-in shot, the telly shot? I'm not sure right now. Let me know in the comments. The wide shot, of course, gives a real kind of sense of isolation. I mean, they are the only people here. I mean, there's nobody that way, and nobody but them that way. So in that sense, it's a true reflection of the situation. I think both images are absolutely valid. I think they both convey something a little different, and effectively it's the same composition, or the same subject at least, with just a varied composition, I suppose. And they tell 2 different stories, I think. And here I'm using the black railing as framing for a set steps over a groin down here, and I've got a good view coming through here. Perhaps I need to step back a little, kneel back. I often don't like situations like this with framing. I think they can be contrived, but this I kind of think works because there's a big gap here. I'm not trying to shoot through a small aperture or something. It's a big gap, so it's given a sense of kind of purpose. And if I kind of come up a little, what I'm trying to do is wait until I get a bit of definition, that's it, down in the breaking waves down there. Got to be careful of the horizon. That's got to be not interfering with this in any way, and just kind of time it right. Something like that, maybe there. Wait for that sea to kind of come in, or here actually. I'm not even getting the horizon, and also this bracket kind of provides a little bit of definition at the top as well. It's not a bad image. Whilst all of the images in this video were shot using a black and white profile on my camera, that's not necessarily how you see them. I was using that so I could visualize what it was that I was creating. The images you're seeing here have largely been edited in post, and if you're interested in seeing how I edited this one, there'll be a video in the members section. You can join the channel from a link down below. One of the famous things, of course, with black and white is we don't need to worry so much about the sky. In actual fact, I think having a great deal of detail in the sky can actually become rather off-putting. Yeah, it can take some of the focus away from what it is that you're trying to say in the photograph. Keep getting flurries of people walking past, presumably to the end of the pier show. And again, I'm interested in just these two figures on the bench here, and I'm getting quite some nice images of them. They're really simple, and that is the absolute beauty of this kind of photography. It's absolutely simple. We strip everything away from it apart from the shapes and that kind of just black and white tones, and that's it. Someone in local government does not like photographers around Cromer because they are constantly screwing up Cromer Pier. Nothing down the centre of it is in line with one another. It's all kind of off here and there. Like you'll see in a little while, they've even ruined it further for people that like to shoot right down the middle. Just nothing is straight and in line, which you can see from this this bench. You know, the railings are straight, the horizon's straight, the bench is like that. Somehow I didn't spot it when I was shooting it. It's ruined what should have been a good shot. The image was balanced using the level metering my camera and also by eye on the handrails. I simply didn't notice how wrong the bench was, and it looks awful with the bench just going downhill. So I've corrected the bench, the handrails are out. You don't notice the handrails as much because they are not as a prominent part of the image. Hey, Paul Baker, I bet you're glad that that bloody bin wasn't there when you were here a couple of weeks ago. I said earlier that inspiration comes from everywhere, and that this is a shot here that I saw someone post on a Facebook page just a couple of days ago, and I thought actually this is really nice, and I commented just how nice it was. It made me stop scrolling, and I'm trying it out, but I'm doing it as black and white for starters, and as a long exposure, which I don't think the other one was. But my apologies to whoever it was. I'll try to look it up and give you a shout out on screen here. There are differences between the two shots, but the inspiration for this particular view came directly from that one thing, and I'm just doing it differently. Well, I think I am. If this is a wholesale theft, I do apologise. I feel that I can get away with so much more by just stripping the colour out and reducing those tones. there's an image here. It's a wide angle shot. It's starting with these grasses, that polished knob, looking over through here, and of all things, a painted palette, and soft in the distance you've got the pier, and just a real kind of look down on it through. Yeah, this is very much the focus, and that's giving it context. I think as colour, I very much doubt it works, but it's shooting in colour and black and white, so yeah, I'll have a colour raw, and I'll have a monochrome JPEG out of it, so I'll be able to see whether or not I'm talking out of the top of my head here or not, but there's so much more to it in black and white. But as I said, I wouldn't have even looked at it in colour, so yeah, whether it's worked or not is almost unimportant. What's important is I'm looking at things in a different way. Also, it's worth noting that very few of these images have been shot with the camera thinking that the exposure is just right. They are all over or underexposed to really emphasize the brightness or the darkness of those of whatever's in the image. Well, I'm losing too much light now to continue a great deal. I've got a number of images that I haven't shot on camera, so I will run you out with those. Thank you very much for your patronage of this video. God, is that too much? I'm going to be heading off for a coffee. If you'd like to buy me one, there is a link down below. And yeah, subscribe, all of that kind of stuff. And again, a big thank you to James for the whole idea of it. I hope you watch it, James, and I hope you like what I've produced, because it's all your fault.
God, what have I done? Who on earth does he think he is? Who do you think you are, Andy Banner? Thinking you're something big on YouTube, talking in a funny accent. Get your own ideas, mate. It took me years to think of that. I contrast black and white photography. Steal me on ideas.